Welcome back to another video. So today, I'm gonna be doing a little ranking. So I haven't right now. I'm doing a cover of all the new Dragon Ball Super manga chapters that will drop from now on. Which right now we are in the Dragon Ball Superhero manga arc, and on the channel I haven't really talked about my thoughts on all the other manga arcs, and I wanted to do basically like more of a laid back video, basically like me doing a little tier list. I love my tier list and stuff like that, and I wanted to do a little tier list basically ranking all the manga arcs and talking about what I like about it, what I didn't like about it, my favorite moments, stuff like that, stuff that makes it good to me. And I want to start this off by, it's not really like a deep review, it's just me basically talking about my thoughts and giving like a more lighter take on the manga and stuff like that. If y'all would like a deeper video, like some of the videos I've done for like my Toriko and like for the other stuff I plan on all my other projects in the future, but let me know. But basically, I just wanted to do like a quick video basically ranking the arcs and what to me is the best and worst arcs and stuff like that. The Dragon Ball Super manga currently has 89 chapters, and if you haven't read the manga at all, you're just checking out this video, the manga is definitely a lot more streamlined than the anime. I want to talk about it more, about how the manga, in my opinion, has ups and downs. Like for me, I feel like Taro is doing really good, especially on the last 3 arcs, especially on his pacing and his paneling. I feel like his paneling has gotten better, but I still think some of his paneling is like really bad sometimes. But overall, the Dragon Ball Super manga is definitely a lot more faster paced than the anime, which we know why, because you know, Toei animation, anime, most animes usually end up having filler or adding filler, especially because usually it's different. In a lot of other anime, right? Usually the manga is gonna be like always ahead, or if it's not, the manga is not ahead, usually the anime either has to take a break like Dragon Ball Super did, or it has to like basically like change things. And Dragon Ball Super is, the anime and the manga are so different, like they're different in a way. I don't want to say they're so different, because I was gonna say they're so different, but I was thinking about it, I was like, they follow like the same plot points, but the way they get there is like different, and the outcomes of those things are different until we get to like the manga exclusive arcs, which are like totally different. But in other arcs, I haven't seen an anime like this where the manga and anime are canon. They both have their own canon, but they both follow the same beats but get to the destination differently. And I don't want to say that it's because like, yo, unlike other anime, the anime was always ahead of the manga ever since the very beginning, and they basically have like 2 stories or whatever, and basically like it's always been like that. And I think that's what's unique about Dragon Ball Super, is that Dragon Ball Super is like one of the like really the first animes that really did that, where like the anime came out first before the manga. There was no material really for the manga at all, unlike other like manga and stuff like that, other anime and stuff like that. And they just took the stuff and made their, like, the anime just took what basically Toriyama laid out the groundwork for what they were going to cover in the manga and just did it in the anime first. And I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about some of the differences I like and which arcs I think are the best and the worst. The first arc I want to talk about is that I'm not going to give it a lot of like attention, because I don't know about y'all, especially if you've been a Dragon Ball fan for probably the past like 5 years. I am super tired of Battle of Gods and Resurrection F. So Battle of Gods came out back in like, what was it, like 2013, 2014. I'm gonna have the date like somewhere right here, like 2013, 2014. And like ever since then, we have seen multiple adaptations of that movie. Like we have Battle of Gods, we have Battle of Gods in Dragon Ball Super, and which they changed some stuff. And then we also have Battle of Gods in the manga, which they also changed some stuff. And then also we have Resurrection F. The manga doesn't do Resurrection F. It like actually like skips it entirely. Like I was actually surprised. I was like re-going through stuff, and I was like, wow, they do not have Resurrection F here at all. And I'm glad, because I do not like that movie. But we have Resurrection F, Dragon Ball Super anime, and then no Resurrection F manga. But I'm just tired of Battle of Gods and Resurrection F in general. So I'm not saying I disliked anything here. Like I said, I feel like the manga has really good pacing. Like I think the Battle of Gods arc was only like 5 chapters, which is really good. And the pacing was pretty fast. Like it wasn't dragging or anything. And I'm gonna give the Dragon Ball Super manga this. Like if you're like me and you've been reading monthly, sometimes it can feel like some of these arcs drag. But I recommend y'all, if you don't like some of these arcs, to actually go back and reread it, because a lot of these arcs are not that long as I thought it was. The Moro arc was longer than I thought it was, but I think the Granolah arc and especially the Tournament of Power arc are way shorter than I thought it was, and they streamline a lot of stuff, and it's actually like really enjoyable. I think Dragon Ball Super is definitely one of those mangas where if you don't want to read it monthly like I am, if you're not addicted like I am, then I recommend actually to wait until an arc's over, or at least they're like 10 or 20 chapters deep, and then check it out. But going back to it, so I'm gonna give Battle of Gods, like my tier list is all the way messed up. Give me one sec. In my opinion, I'm gonna give Battle of Gods a C. It's okay. Like, I did like seeing the Beerus and Goku fight, even though it was really short, and it basically did everything that it did in the movie. Like, and that's another reason why I didn't like it as much, because it's just, I'm just tired of Battle of Gods. I just want to move on, and I felt like the Dragon Ball Super anime and the manga were trying to, like, reinforce it just in case for people that didn't see it. But I was like, I understand, but I'm just, as a person that has seen, like, everything, I'm, like, tired of Battle of Gods. But, one thing I have to admit is that I do have, paneling issues with Toyotaro. I think some of his paneling is sometimes a little cluttered and stuff like that, and it could be better, but I have to admit Toyotaro is really good at drawing Dragon Ball, in my opinion. I love the manga art a lot, and it's even as good as like the first arc. Like, a lot of mangas you read, they usually start off like, you know, in the baby phase of the art, and then it gets better and better as it goes on. And I feel like Dragon Ball Super has been really consistent, where Toyotaro's like ability to draw has been the same since day one, and it's always looked good, in my opinion. And it still looks good now, but like everything's super consistent. Like, it hasn't like grown more, in my opinion. I think Toyotaro's storytelling and writing and pacing has gotten better as it goes on, but his like drawing has stayed the same, and it's like really nice to see. Like, it's not a drag to go back and reread some of these chapters because they look really good. But some things I did like from Battle of Gods art. Like I said, I did like the paneling. I like the art. And I also did like seeing that like final panel of just Goku doing the Kamehameha against Beerus. That was really cool. But other than that, it's not crazy. It's Battle of Gods. We don't really care about that. Like I said, Resurrection F is skipped in the manga, so we're gonna head into the Universe 6 manga arc. And this arc was when we really was like seeing the differences between the anime and the manga. So let's talk about power scaling in the anime. The anime has a big problem with power scaling and how certain characters just like power scaled like way harder than they should be, which is a fine. I don't mind that problem because it gives more tension in the anime. But in the manga, you feel the characters are definitely weaker. Like, characters that are not supposed to be strong aren't strong, and there's different abilities in the manga and stuff like that. Like in this arc, I believe in the anime, if Hit is way stronger than he is in the manga. And like in the manga, he's like definitely like more realistic, but in this arc, we get to see like the same things like Vegeta versus Hit. We get to see Goku versus Hit. We get to see Vegeta versus Kaba. We get to see Goku, Piccolo, and Vegeta versus Frost. And everything's basically the same, except that Dragon Ball Super manga sets up Champa ever since the Battle of Gods arc. They show him in that arc, which I probably should have mentioned that, but like I'm mentioning it now here because he's more important in this arc. He was shown in the Battle of Gods arc, setting him up more, and then he's like, you know, one of the main antagonists because you're the universe is going against. So they set that up so he has more character, more time to build and stuff like that. And then we also get to see more of like, we get to see more of Goku like talking, being more strategic, especially like during his Hit fight and his Frost fight. Goku was yapping his gums. He was talking so much, just like talking and explaining, being respectful also and stuff like that. It was really fun. Like, I think this arc is like really fun, and everything's basically like the same as the anime, except like I said, we're gonna talk about the differences. So everything's basically the same, I believe, until we get to the Goku versus Hit part. Like, I believe that's where the main differences are. That in that fight, Goku actually fights like Super Saiyan in base form. I don't think he actually goes Super Saiyan. I think he's staying base form most of the fight, and then goes God, and then goes Blue. But then there's no Kaioken. That's one big difference from the anime. In the anime, they have Kaioken times 10, Kaioken times 20, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. They don't have that at all in the manga. They have different stuff in the manga, but we don't see like the times 10 Kamehameha, which was a huge moment in the Dragon Ball community when that happened in the anime. That was like that was super hype. And that's definitely one of Goku's like key characteristics throughout the rest of Super. Like, he uses that in every other arc and stuff like that, even in the Tournament of Power arc. So like, it was really weird that we don't see that in the manga, and I actually like what they do in the manga differently from the anime. I actually like how they don't have Kaioken in the manga. I think it's fine. Let me not say that like that. I like both. I like both what we're gonna talk about. I should just say it because if you're watching this, I'm hoping you know most of the lore and stuff like that. But I'm gonna talk about, I like mastered Super Saiyan Blue and like Blue Kaioken equally, but I'm lying. I'm lying. I like Master Super Saiyan Blue more, but I think Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken is like right there. Like Mastered Blue Kaioken, they're like really really close. I like both of them, and I don't mind it. And I think it was really really cool in the anime. But I do like how in the manga it seems like there's more strategy in a lot of the fights. Like Goku's like monologues a lot and even talks out loud about his strategies, how is he gonna be hit and stuff like that. And we also get to see Super Saiyan God a lot more in the manga that we don't see in the anime. I don't believe in the anime we didn't see Super Saiyan God like we barely saw Super Saiyan God. I feel like we saw Super Saiyan 2 more than Super Saiyan God in the anime. And I feel like when we saw the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, that's when everyone was super excited because we actually got to see more Super Saiyan God in anime form. While like in the manga, they show Super Saiyan God so often. Like it's basically the new Super Saiyan, which it should have been from the very beginning. So that's one thing that I think Dragon Ball Super manga does really really well. But everything else, I think I talked about most of the differences that I really want to talk about from the Universe 6 arc. There's not a lot of differences. I think it's a decent arc. Like it's really really decent. I'm gonna put it in B, but like if you want to put it in C, like I can understand because it's not crazy. Like it's not that different from the anime. Like really, besides that, there's no Kaioken times 10, and that there's hit is not as strong as he is, and the pacing's a lot more faster. Like I feel like for the Dragon Ball the Battle Gods arc and Universe 6 arc, and you could even say the Tournament Power arc, the pacing is a lot more faster. In my opinion, I don't think the Goku Black arc, the pacing is as fast as that. I feel like they cut stuff out that the anime does in the manga, but I don't think that the pacing is faster, if you get what I'm saying. But I think it's fine. I think it's like a good B tier. It's nothing crazy, but let's get into the actual crazy stuff. The actual like really, really crazy stuff, which is the last 4 arcs. So we're going to first start with the Goku Black arc. And I'm going to say it right now. I don't think this is my favorite arc, but it's really, really good and shows like this is the start of Dragon Ball Super manga that I'm like, okay, people need to read this. Because there's a lot of things differently that happens in the anime. Like one thing we talked about in the anime is that there's definitely a lot of pacing issues. And it definitely felt like the Dragon Ball, I don't know why I said that. It felt like the Goku Black arc definitely like was struggling in the middle part and kept on dragging itself out when it shouldn't have done that. Like I believe in the anime they went to the future twice, and I still think that they should not have went to the future twice. They should have been just one trip. It should have just been one trip, and I believe in the manga it's one trip. And I think that's way better and way more streamlined. They also don't drag out the Goku versus Rose and Vegeta versus Rose fight. And actually, I believe at the beginning of the arc, I think Goku and Vegeta are stronger than Rose, and they're actually putting Rose and Zamasu on the ropes until they fuse. So that was really, really nice to see. It was really cool, and they streamlined it. And I did like Trunks a lot. They showed like Trunks running from Goku Black in the first chapter. It was really, really nice. The paneling was really, really good, and the art was really, really good. And it's really, really similar in that way. And we also get to see, like, in the manga compared to the anime, we actually get to see more Trunks and Kibito and Supreme Kai versus Deborah and Babidi, which was really nice to see. And we also get to see Goku versus Trunks, just like in the anime. But I believe in the anime, I think he goes Super Saiyan 3. I'm pretty sure he does. In the manga, he also goes Super Saiyan 3. But he turns Super Saiyan God, which they don't show. And, like, it's blah, blah, blah. It's not important, really. But that was really, really nice to see, and really started like showing more and more that like the manga is gonna be showing more context sometimes, but it's gonna be faster than the anime. Let's keep moving. Let's talk about the important part where it actually starts changing. So, like in the anime, we actually get to see Vegito Blue in the manga, which is really, really cool to see. Like we actually get to see him, but it's not as long. Just like in the anime, I think in the anime, I think someone did like a video where like they put all the time Vegeto's in the episode. He's like in the episode for only like he's in that episode for like 4 minutes, which was crazy. But like in this manga, he's only in one chapter, and he's not even in the full chapter. He's like in the very, very like middle part of the chapter, and then they unfuse at the end of the chapter. But it's still cool to see. And Zamasu in this version is actually like freaking busted. So in the anime, the reason that Zamasu starts to lose is that like the reasoning is that their bodies are like deteriorating or whatever, because you know it's a immortal being with a mortal being and stuff like that. And that was the reason they were deteriorating. And I don't think they do that as much in the manga. They are more a perfect match and stuff like that. So they have like a better like They have a whole better like fusion and stuff like that. And they're able to heal from like basically anything. And one thing I forgot to mention, Dragon Super manga, I like how much like gore it is or less censorship it is. There's a lot more blood. There's a lot more like people losing like body parts, limbs, or getting punched in the freaking like whole chest. I like seeing that. I like seeing that because in an anime about people fighting and like throwing ki blasts and punching the hell out of each other, I would like to see more like blood and just more like violence. This sounds crazy to say. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm just glad that we get to see like more blood and more violence in Dragon Ball when it comes to the fights and stuff like that. But like I said, one thing we also get to see is more of the Master Super Saiyan Blue. So like after the fusion ends, we get to see Master Super Saiyan Blue, and it was really cool to see. We get to see Goku fight fuse Zamasu as it, and it's actually like really sick. Like it's really cool. We get to see that, and he also does like Hakai for like the first time, and just that panel of him just like Hakaiing Beerus away was really cool. Like really cool, and definitely one of the highlights of the entire manga for me. And I really like that, and I also like the ending. So the ending was that like Murzamatsu ended up like was not gonna lose a normal way, and the manga he actually like comes multiple versions of himself. Like it reminds me a lot, and I think they did this on purpose. Callbacks to the Metacooler movie, where it was like a bunch of Metacoolers, and there's a panel where like Goku and Vegeta are like looking at all the merged Zamatsus, and they basically like about to fight them. And I think it's like a 1-to-1 with the Metacooler movie. Like Goku's wearing just his blue like undershirt and the orange and stuff like that, and Vegeta's wearing like his normal Saiyan gear, and it's a really cool callback. And I like that. I like seeing that. It ends the same way. Zeno coming in and destroying the whole universe. It basically ends the same. But I did like some of the differences. It reiterates that like Dragon Ball Super manga is still like gonna follow the same story as the anime, but it's gonna go like in a different way and stuff like that. Like it'll like slowly get in a different way, but it's still gonna get back like on course, if you get what I'm saying. And I liked it a lot. I think that it's a lot more streamlined than the anime. I actually prefer to read the manga version than the anime because the Dragon Ball Super anime does struggle, and the Goku Black arc and the Tournament of Power arc with its pacing, like and dragging stuff out. And I feel like the manga versions of that are better. And I think that the Murzamatsu arc is a high B. I think it's higher than, I don't even know why I said high B because there's only like 6 arcs. But I don't think it's A. Like, I think the next, like, 3 arcs are definitely, like, more considering of A. But, actually, maybe not even Tournament of Power, low-key. Like I said, final thoughts. Murzamatsu arc, Goku Black arc, really good. I like how the pacing's faster than the anime. And compared to the other arcs, it's definitely the best arc up to that point. It's really good. But, let's head into the next arc. Tournament of Power arc. Alright, so this arc is way more streamlined and is way shorter than the anime. Like, way shorter. I was mad surprised when I was rereading it. I was like, yo, this is going by fast. And they changed a lot of stuff. So in this arc, it's a lot more different. One thing, Master Roshi lasts until the end of the old basically Tournament of Power. He's like basically like the last 4 or 5. Like, that was crazy. And he also kind of like teaches Goku a little bit how to do Ultra Instinct, which was really nice to see and different from the anime. The anime just did like where they pretended that Master Roshi was gonna die, even though no one knew he was gonna die. Everyone knew he wasn't gonna die, and it was just it was like a scene that was supposed to touch your heart. But like when I first saw it, it did. But then rewatching it, kind of didn't need to be there. So I was just like, yo, this is like a weird pacing thing. Like there was a lot of weird story beats in the anime that dragged on longer. Like Ribrianne dragged longer than she needed to. It's mostly the other universes. The other universes they fought dragged on longer than they need to. I think all the Universe 11 stuff was cool. Any fight with Universe 11. I think Universe Champa's Universe whatever it's 5. No, Universe 6. I'm stupid. Universe 6. I don't even know why I said that. Universe 6 arc. I think those characters were fine in the anime as well. I actually like some of the stuff that they had in the anime compared to the manga. So like in the anime, they have Ultra Instinct Goku versus Kefla, which is still one of the coolest fights, and Goku versus Kale Khalifa. Like by like 2-on-1 was also really cool that they don't have in the manga. And instead in the manga, they have Gohan versus Kefla, which I like seeing because as a Gohan fan, I just like seeing Gohan do stuff. Even though like we didn't get to see a lot of the fight, and they just like, I would say at most we have like 8 panels of it, but it was still like nice to see that like Gohan got to beat Kefla. But I definitely think the anime did better with the Kefla situation because I think it was cooler that how Goku like beat Kefla and stuff like that. We also don't get to see we get Berserker Kale in the manga, but she's not as like buff as she is in the anime. Like she's not as Broly like. She's more like so in the anime, you know how like she has that transformed state of her, like that transformed version of her where it's like perfected, where she perfected the Berserker form. They have that as like her base like Super Saiyan form in the manga, like her base like manga form. But that's still Berserker, like she's Berserker, but she's just in a more streamlined like form, like basically how she looked when she perfected it in the anime, if you get what I'm saying. I think that was like okay. They didn't get to show her ever like perfecting it or overcoming it. Like she was like literally like going on a Berserker rage, and like they had to stop her by basically like someone knocked her out, and then Kale and Khalifa basically like just put the earring on her, and they combined while she was like laying down on the battlefield. Like they didn't really do a lot. Like it definitely felt like the pacing's faster in the anime, but I felt like in that moment I was like, I kind of wish they showed a little more. Like I kind of wish like the Tournament Power arc maybe got like one more chapter to like fledge some more things out. And I think that's probably the issue that I'm realizing as I'm talking, because I'm trying to think about it. I'm like, this arc was maybe, I like that the pacing was fast, but I think it was maybe a little too fast compared to the anime. I felt like the anime was too slow, and I felt like the manga might have been a little too fast. But I did, like I said, I want to talk about more of the differences. Like I said, I did like Gohan versus Kefla. More Android 17. Android 17 was also MVP as hell in the manga. Really, really cool. And Frieza was actually like pretty nice as well. And I also really liked Goku Vegeta at the end. So at the end, they basically like team up more and more to fight Jiren, which is like similar, just like in the anime. But in the manga, they're like really low on power, and they don't fight in like blue. They fight together like base form and stuff like that. And then also like Vegeta had a more longer fight with Toppo, but it doesn't end out the same way as it did in the manga at all. In the anime at all. It's way different. But it was fine. It was cool to see. I did like mostly the more of the Ultra Instinct stuff. The Ultra Instinct stuff was basically the same or as good as the anime. Like I'm thinking now, like I like that the manga was more streamlined and stuff like that. It definitely wasn't as long as the anime was. But I feel like the anime's highs of the arc were better than the highs of the manga. Like if you get what I'm saying. Like I felt like that day, like you had to be there that day when that live stream happened for, well, not really a live stream, but when the two-parter episodes dropped. And that day, like you had to be there that day when that dropped, when Goku first turned Ultra Instinct. That moment as a Dragon Ball fan went way crazier than anything I've read up to this point for the manga, for where we're talking about right now, the Tournament Power arc. And also like when Goku and Vegeta were turning Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, and then Vegeta was turning Super Saiyan Blue Ultra Evolved, which I don't remember. I don't think Ultra Evolved is in the, like it's not in the manga as well. Like basically those are only anime transformations and stuff like that. Those aren't, there's not moments like that in the manga that is as hype for me in this arc. Like the Ultra Instinct stuff was cool, but I definitely gonna say that I believe the anime moments of those fights were better. And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, dang, like I feel like I'm talking so much mess in the Tournament Power arc in the manga. Like I'm not trying to, but thinking about it and talking about it, like I don't think it didn't blow my mind. Like it didn't blow my mind as much as like the next two arcs are. The next two arcs are amazing and blew my mind. But the Tournament Power arc, I felt like its weakness was that the pacing was too fast. Too fast, where there was not enough content. Like I feel like they were definitely rushing through it, and I would think that was a good thing, because I like seeing, like I like faster paced stories and not stories like dragging along. But I felt like the highs of the anime outweighed a lot of the dragging for me sometimes. Like the Goku vs Kefla fight, the Vegeta versus Toppo, God Destruction Toppo, Golden Frieza versus Toppo, Android 17, the moment where Goku first turns Ultra Instinct, fights Jiren, all the moments where Goku, like I think Goku after like any moment after he unlocks Ultra Instinct is like hard. Like all of his fights are really cool. And even before that, like one of my favorite things about the anime version of Goku vs Jiren at the beginning of the fight Goku and Jiren like fight, and then when Goku first starts fighting, he fights him in base form, and he like goes up his forms, and you see Jiren exert more and more, a little bit more effort, and I really like that. I like that a lot. And we also get to see like, so in the manga, like Goku and Hit don't really team up. They basically like take turns fighting Jiren, and I didn't like that. Like in the anime, they actually show like Goku and Hit actually like teaming up, God, Goku and Hit, and like it's actually really really cool. It's actually a cool moment, and they both fight. I think it was Dispo and stuff like that, and they fight Jiren a little bit, and Hit still fights Jiren in the anime, and in the manga it still loses to Jiren. But I did like that we get that moment in the anime. While in the manga, we don't really get a moment like that. It's more like Goku's fighting Jiren, and then Hit comes up to help Goku real quick, shows his time lag, whatever, and then he just gets knocked out. Like, it's not like nothing crazy. Like, Goku and Jiren talks for a bit, and then Hit was like talking to Goku, like saying like, oh, like after I beat Jiren, remember you're next, and Goku was like, oh yeah, and then he just gets knocked out. Like, it was really underwhelming. And I felt like in the anime it was a lot more deserved when Hit got knocked out, because we actually got to see Goku and Hit actually like teaming up and stuff like that. And I thought that was way cooler. Man, I did not know this video was going to turn into me talking about how I didn't like the turn of power in the manga as much. Okay, so that's my final thoughts. I'm going to say, because originally I thought, like I said that the manga goes like this, but low-key, it does go like this, but like, I'm not saying that it's like way worse than the Mersamatsu arc. I'm just saying that I think that the turn of power arc is a lot more underwhelming in the manga compared to the anime, and I lost my mind more to the high points of the anime way more than the high points of the manga, and I think that held it back for me. So for me, I would put Jiren, I don't know why I said Jiren, the Turn of Power arc, I think I would put it below the Mersamatsu arc. I think it's still B, I think it's still like good, it's better than the Universe 6 arc. I liked a lot of the unique things, like I said, like Gohan vs Kefla. And I also like seeing Goku and Vegeta team up more and fighting more exhausted, like in their base forms and stuff like that. And also seeing the other like hijinks stuff that like Master Roshi lasted into almost the end. And we got to see more Android 17. We got to see Frieza being more of a dickhead. And we got to see more like Jiren and like the Ultras and Goku. Like those moments are really really cool. And Vegeta like fighting Toppo. But I feel like the anime high moments outweighs the manga's high moments, and it kind of ruins it. Not ruins it, but makes it not as impactful for me. So that's why I put it below the Mersamatsu arc. I think the Mersamatsu arc definitely had higher highs and definitely more unsuspecting highs than the manga version of the Tournament Power arc. But we're gonna get into the bangers, right? So I'm gonna say this now. I think the Moro arc is probably the best arc in the manga. Really, really good arc. I loved everything about this arc. One thing I liked is that Moro was like a villain that we like was different from other villains, kind of. Actually, that's a lie. Why am I lying to y'all? He was okay. So let me start off. I love this arc a lot, especially the first half. So the first half where Goku and Vegeta basically joined the Time Patrol. Not the Time Patrol. This is not Dragon Ball Universe. The basically like the space patrol team with Jacko and stuff, like the Galactic Patrol. There we go. They joined the Galactic Patrol. Goku meets Miras, and Miras is a really cool character. I like Miras. I want to say, like, off topic, Miras and Granolah, brand new characters to the manga. I love both of them. I love them a lot. But we basically learned about Moro, which Moro is like, I like the backstory of Moro, that basically like he was a villain that used to fight, like that was back then, a criminal back then when the Majin Buu like time where Majin Buu was like absorbing all the Kais and beating up and killing all the Kais and stuff like that. I think that was really, really cool. And I liked in the beginning how different he was with his powers at the beginning, because, you know, in Dragon Ball, abilities have become kind of streamlined, where it's either energy blast, physical attacks, and there's nothing really like unique. And I felt like magic was definitely like very, very unique at first, and I liked how like Moro had these like different abilities and stuff like that. But you know, Dragon Ball is like a really strong anime where it's just like characters can just like destroy whole universes, and it's really hard to do stuff like creative stuff with magic. And I felt like magic in the manga later on in the arc just ended up turning into basically like him being able to absorb abilities, or basically being able to like teleport and like do like basically conveniences for the plot type of stuff. The cool thing he did do that I would attribute to magic is his control over like the earth or the land around it, which we'll talk about more. But when Goku and Vegeta went to Namek, I like that they get their ass kicked, because they wasn't expecting Moro to just have these abilities and stuff like that. And I liked how the development that Vegeta goes through, because one problem that the manga does have a few times is that the manga like and Dragon Ball Super in general like to reiterate character beats that already happened for the characters. Like Vegeta and Piccolo, for example, have already went through character development, and they make them go through the same character development or the same character beats sometimes, especially Vegeta. And one thing I did like in this arc though is that Vegeta never went through an arc where he basically like Vegeta feels bad for the things he does, but we didn't really get to see it until this arc. And I like that he actually feels bad about him being a dickhead back in the Frieza arc and just killing the Mechians for no reason, and how those people are also like afraid of him and don't like him at the beginning of the arc. But I do like that even at the end he gets the payoff when he learns the spirit fission and able to like restore life to the Namekians and stuff like that. I did like that he actually got to like complete a cycle where he actually got to like redeem his sins type of stuff. I think that was really cool. Goku training with Miras was also a really cool moment. I like training arcs, depending on the anime and manga. I like training arcs, and I felt like this one was fine. I liked seeing Goku go through his training with Miras. I liked seeing Vegeta go through the Yardrat training. I didn't even talk about that when talking about Vegeta. He went through Yardrat training. We got to see more of Planet Yardrat and get to see more of the stuff that Goku had to deal with during that time that he was away from Earth and on Yardrat after the Frieza arc. We got to see that, and I like seeing Yardrat in the Yardrat. I like seeing Vegeta in the Yardrat clothes. I like seeing him like learn the Spirit Fission, actually having more unique moves, and like seeing callbacks to just old moves. We got to see Spirit Fission, which is basically like a different version of Spirit Bomb, except you're taking it from a person instead of like it's basically Spirit Bomb, but it's like definitely more like physical than Spirit Bomb and less like it's better than Spirit Bomb. It's definitely better than Spirit Bomb because like Spirit Bomb you actually have to stay in one place gathering energy, while Spirit Fission you actually like punch people and actually get the energy and stuff like that. I think that was really cool, and I like seeing that, and I like that like after Goku and Vegeta basically got their ass kicked, we got to see the differences in their characters and the differences in how they fight, and how Vegeta had to basically become more like spiritual and try to become like, I want to say more like Goku, but just learn moves. Like Vegeta acknowledges multiple times that Goku's better than him, but one thing I like is that Vegeta's willing to try new things. I feel like Goku definitely struggles in the manga to try like he tries new things, but I feel like Vegeta like tries new things and goes way harder than Goku. Like Goku would try new things and give it like, you know, Goku would think he's giving it 100%, but Vegeta shows like Goku's not giving it at 100%. Like Vegeta is really giving everything he does and trying to learn new stuff 100%, especially if he thinks it's gonna make him stronger. And I like seeing that a lot. And let's move on to later on in the arc that I want to get to, the fight on Earth. I loved seeing all the characters come back. Like Yamcha was there, Gohan was there, Piccolo was there, Android 17 and 18 were there. I like seeing everyone there. Jacko was involved. I really liked that whole fight. And even though you can account that to pacing and didn't like how they dragged those fights, but I thought it was just cool because I just love seeing those characters, especially because we haven't seen those characters in so long. And I believe TM was there. I think TM was also there. Was he there? I'll show a picture if he was there or not. But that was really cool. I like that a lot. And we got to see some like cool stuff, and I think at this point Moro is still like really threatening and really cool. I think Moro starts falling. My nose got congested. I think the part where Moro starts falling off. The part where Moro starts falling off for me is definitely like when he absorbed that cyber android thing and basically turned into like Cell. Let's be honest, guys. It's giving a lot of Cell. Like, it's giving a lot of Cell, and I think when that part happened, like, it stopped becoming more of, like, this guy is smart and conniving and has magic, into more like, it's just a Dragon Ball fight now. It's just, you know, a guy super strong, them racing around the planet and just shooting energy beams. Which, you know, that's Dragon Ball, but, like, with Moro, it felt like he was a lot more different, and when that happened, I didn't like that. But it's still cool. I'm still a biased Dragon Ball fan, so I thought it was still interesting, and I still liked a lot of the stuff. But I think that when that happened to Moro in the manga, I definitely didn't like that. But the other stuff that was happening was cool. I liked how everyone basically teamed up. I like how Vegeta got to use his Spirit Fission and, like I said, redeemed himself for what he did on Namek and stuff like that. And we got to see Miras fight and give a good speech to Goku and actually, like, talk about his sense of justice and how, like, him as an angel, he's supposed to be, like, neutral. but he's just learned justice and doesn't like. It's cool and like how he sacrificed himself, even though he ends up coming back at the end of the arc, so it doesn't even matter. But like him, like basically like sacrificing himself because of his sense of justice, even though he's not supposed to, and I think that was really cool. And we got to see Goku with a basically like a kaiju Power Rangers type transformation. That was really cool. I love that. I ain't gonna lie, I love that a lot. I think it was really cool, and I like that at the end. Like Moro did kind of pull a Cell. Like when I was reading this, I was like, this is giving off a lot of like Cell Saga like vibes, like a lot of like Perfect Cell about to blow up the, like, not even Perfect Cell turning into second form Cell because he spit out 18 and then about to blow up the planet. That's basically what was gonna happen when Moro basically like absorbed the planet. But I did like that choice where like Moro actually got to absorb angel energy and stuff like that, but then, you know, he's immortal and can't handle god energy. I think that was a good reason, but it definitely gave a lot of Cell and stuff like that. But I did like the kaiju part. I like that part a lot. That part was just so cool. And I did like how everyone went together, and we got to see Oob, and that was okay. Like there's some parts I didn't like about this arc, but this arc is like really good. I like a lot of parts with it. It's a lot of character beats that I like, and it's not even about the fights. Like the fights were cool, and I liked a lot of the stuff that happens, like I said, but it's more about the story beats and just seeing these characters and watching the progression and actually having new development arcs for people to go through. Like I said, they do explore a lot of like story beats with Vegeta where he like reiterates stuff from his past, and Goku saying dumb stuff about him not knowing shit about Vegeta's character even though he should. Character assassination. That should be a whole nother video where we talk about Dragon Ball Super's like character assassination of Goku. I like what they did to Vegeta because they gave him a new arc for him to rectify for his sins, and I think that was really cool. This arc is an S tier arc, and it's really good. Really good. There are some parts I didn't like. Like I said, I didn't like how basically at the end, like Moro became basically just Cell and basically a Dragon Ball villain, and like the magic part of his abilities became less and less relevant as the arc went on. But I think it was still a really good arc, and I liked a lot of things that I said, and I think that it's definitely either the best arc or like second best, but its only competition is the Granolah arc, and the Granolah arc, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. The Granolah arc is basically like introduce Granolah, which I love Granolah. I also love. Okay, let's talk about the backstory. I know people don't like Bardock in the Dragon Ball Super or the new continuity of Bardock, but I like it. I like Bardock in the Z format and the Super format equally. I'm lying. I like Z more than Super, but I still like it. And I like seeing the backstory where like you get to see the sins of the Saiyans. Like the Saiyans were not good people. Like Frieza's not a good person, but low-key, the Saiyans were also not good people. And I like that they kind of have to rectify for their actions of their race or even just people, because Vegeta has always been a dickhead and was doing basically everything the Saiyans were doing, so he kind of deserves some punishment and stuff like that. I like that a lot, and I felt like it was really cool to see that, and Granolah was really good. Granolah was like interesting. I liked his ability. I don't really like the whole wishing thing where they basically wish to be the strongest character in the universe thing. That was cool. It was cool, I guess, to like they did that to basically like put him on the same level as Goku Vegeta, because it doesn't make sense to where this guy randomly shows up and is on the same level, even though he still did that anyway. But that was like basically the plot reason for why he did that. But I also did like that we got to see different Dragon Balls on a different planet by a different Namekian. That's really cool, especially because, you know, we have different clans and the Namekians. And I like seeing that there was like another set of Dragon Balls, even though I don't think they were as strong as the Earth Dragon Balls. But I don't know. It wished someone to be the strongest in the universe. So I don't know. That's pretty strong to me. But I like that. I'm going to talk about more of, so there's not really a lot of character arcs besides for Granolah for me that I really messed with. There's a little bit of training for Goku and Vegeta, and we get to see cool moments at the end of this arc, which the end of this arc is probably like the best ending to the Dragon Ball Super manga arc so far. But the Goku Vegeta versus Granolah fights were really cool. I did like seeing how basically Granolah beat the fuck out of them with his sniping and him being able to hit their pressure points. I didn't like how eventually they just like, you know, it doesn't matter. I'm just strong, so I get through the pressure points and the power points and all your secret abilities anyway. But I did think it was cool, and I did like how he basically has the eye power, where he basically can like find the weak points in people. I think that was really really cool, and we get to see Vegeta's new transformation, which Ego Vegeta, really really cool. I like the idea. I like how basically Goku is taking more of the Whis route, and Beerus is taking, and not Beerus, Vegeta's taking more of the Beerus route of God Destruction. I think that's really really cool and such a smart idea, and I like that like Vegeta's not just like following in Goku's footsteps, and like eventually I got scared that like during the Tournament Power arc, they were basically showing like Vegeta's getting his own thing kind of. But I was like, oh man, they're showing Ultra Instinct as the pinnacle of strength. Are they gonna give Vegeta's own his version of Ultra Instinct? And Ego Vegeta is basically that, but it's not Ultra Instinct, which I like that it's not. Like Vegeta has his own thing, and it's cool because as a man, for Vegeta known for getting his ass kicked, I like that this power basically allows him to get his ass kicked and it powers him up. I think that's such a good idea for someone that always does like the fucking thumb and he ends up always losing whenever he does that. I like that like if he does the thumb and he turns to Ego Vegeta, he has a higher chance of winning because whenever he's getting his ass beat, he gets stronger. I think that's a smart idea. I like that. I think that was really, really cool. Seeing Ego Vegeta and Goku power up was really, really cool. Negatives. Didn't like gas. Or any of the was the Elect gang, the gang basically that Granolah was working for, and basically like the people that also want to overthrow Frieza, basically the criminals, the gang of this arc. Most of them didn't matter, and even at the end of the arc, they all didn't amount to anything besides gas. And even the leader of the group ends up just getting one-shotted off, like not off screen, but gets one-shotted by Frieza at the end of the arc. He doesn't really do anything. All he does is like motivate Gas, but he doesn't like do anything. He's not strong or anything, or even like has like a lot of important story reasons. In my opinion, he's just like telling Gas like, you remember your our goal. We got to beat Frieza, and like I don't remember if they really talked about why they really want to beat Frieza. Besides, they just wanted to seize what he has. Like it wasn't really like a story reason. Granolah like wants to find Frieza and wants to kill Saiyans because of what they did to the people and stuff like that. And I think that was definitely a lot more captivating than just we want to take Frieza's place and stuff like that. I didn't think it was that interesting. And I think that was the part I didn't like. I don't like Gas really as a character. He didn't really like, he just wants to be strong. He doesn't like people being stronger really than him and wants to just have a good fight. And also is fighting because his like, you know, the leader of the Elect gang is literally telling him, like, motivating him and, like, pressuring him to make sure, like, you're the best and, like, doing the best, being the best. And basically that's what happened, and basically that's why he was, like, stronger and getting stronger, wanted to be stronger, was obsessed with getting stronger. And, the way they did it, I didn't expect that they were just gonna wish for him to also be the strongest in the universe. And I think that was, really funny, how basically Granolah wished to be strongest in the universe at that time. And then there was Gas, who wished to be the strongest in the universe after Granolah, which means he would be stronger than Granolah. And then when Black Frieza shows up, you know, he was in a different dimension. So the wish didn't count towards his strength. And so Black Frieza shows up and he's stronger than everyone. I think that was kind of funny. I ain't gonna lie. I am talking mess about Gas, but I have to admit, Gas's fights and his ability to summon like weapons and like objects was really, really cool. It gave me a lot of Green Lantern vibes. And I liked it a lot. I liked the fights a lot. And I know I talked about, like, Ego Vegeta and Ultra Instinct Goku, but just those fights where they turn Ultra Instinct and Ego Vegeta, and just that one panel where they're just charging up and you just see them, that panel's so hard. That panel's, like, so good. Like, really, really good. And I also liked, I talked about Bardock's backstory, and I like seeing that, like, Goku gets to, like, get the scouter and learn more about his father, because we don't really like Goku doesn't really talk about his family like that. Like we don't really talk about how, you know, Goku had a brother that they had to get rid of. We don't really talk about how Goku has a father and a mother. Like they show it, but we don't really get to see Goku talk about it or Goku acknowledge it. And this was the first arc where Goku really got to acknowledge his Saiyan heritage and also got to acknowledge that, like, you know, the Saiyans were all like assholes, but at least like his father wasn't that much of an asshole. Like, at least his father, like, actually, like, tried to help people and actually, like, cared somewhat. Like, remember when Bardock helps, like, the Namekian, and I think he, like, fights Gas? Was it? Yeah, I think he fought Gas. Yeah, he fought Gas a long time ago. I think that was really, really cool, and I like that a lot. And that was a story beat that I just like. I think my favorite thing about Dragon Ball Super manga is the story beats that we don't get to see as much in the anime. I like those story beats. But let's get to the ending though. The ending, which basically like ties up this arc in a nice bow. Black Frieza. Black Frieza's really cool. I'm sorry. I know that like Frieza's getting like oversaturated like the Joker in the Arkham games, but Black Frieza was just so cool. And when he showed up and he just came in with the smoke, he just came in with just like he came in, killed the leader. He came in, turned gas into literal bones and ash, and it came in and like basically bitch slapped Goku and Vegeta in their most powered up forms. Come on, bro. And then he came, took some of the Elect gang and just dipped. Come on, bro. It was so cool. And it sets up the next like few arcs perfectly. Like right now, we're in the superhero arc, basically like the slice of life arc with Trunks and Goten, which I really like, by the way. Check out my review of the latest chapter. I like there's a goal. Like there's a goal. Like actually you have to get stronger. And like I like the reasoning where Frieza found like a hyperbolic time chamber, and Frieza lives longer than like normal Saiyans and doesn't really have a life like that. And he actually like trained for 10 years. You know how long Saiyans and characters get strong in like 6 months? 10 years. I just want to know how they're gonna beat Frieza or how it's gonna work out, because just like I'm so interested. I'm super like invested now, like way more. Like I'm, oh my god, what's gonna happen in the next arc? Like we get to see Black Frieza. How they gonna beat Black Frieza? They can't beat him with fusion because Frieza's just like 10 years stronger, 10 years of power scaling. Like how are they gonna beat Frieza? And I'm super excited. It's super good. I want to give the Granolah arc definitely like S. I think the Moro arc is a little better, but I think they're both like really good S tier. If you want to put it in A, you can. If you think I should put it in A, yeah, I'll put it in A. I'll put it in A. Cause, yeah, mostly I'm putting them in A mostly because the criminals were underwhelming, and I think like the villain of I think Moro was a way better villain, but that ending of that Granolah arc is super good, super good. But I think this is my tier list and my ranking of the Dragon Ball Super manga arcs. I think this is it. I hope I explained in a good way everything, why I feel the way I do and what I feel about the manga right now, especially since I didn't get to review those chapters when they were coming out, and I am just starting reviewing the chapters now. Like I said, I do have a video where I covered the last Dragon Ball Super manga chapter where Trunks is balling, and I think that chapter is really funny. And I also covered Chainsaw Man and stuff like that. Also, like you're seeing my face. I might try and do more videos like this, but these videos definitely are a pain for me to do sometimes. But I definitely enjoyed recording this. It's definitely more laid back. It's not like crazy editing like I have to do for my other manga videos. So like while I'm working on those bigger videos, like I'm still working like with Tupper's video, I'm not getting that out by the end of January. It's not happening. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. I've changed. At first, I wanted to like make it more bigger, but I think I'm gonna lower it down a little bit, and like it's still gonna be a big video, but it's not gonna be like I changed how I wanted to do it, so it's gonna take longer. Hopefully I can finish it before the end of February, and then I want to start working on my Kame ga Kill video, and then hopefully like I read other stuff. Like I want to read Blue Lock, I want to read Haiku, I want to read Promise Neverland. There's so much stuff to read, just not enough time. So that's the problem. But leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and hit that bell to post consistently. Let me know down below, what did you think about the Dragon Ball Super manga arcs, and what's your favorite arc, your least favorite arc. If you disagree with my opinions, let me know down below. Which if you agree with me and stuff like that, let me know. But I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace.